Where the hell am I going? Am I going up that way? What? What did I just target? Right. There you go. Technically, you don't need a mic right away. That's always helpful. There's another big benefit I had. My dad and his friends are all mechanics, all used car mechanics, so they like find random junk in cars all the time. And my dad's friend found this blue Yeti in a car. He just found it. And he was like, if this thing's junk, I don't know, I'll turn it into like a desk piece or something like that. Turn it into like a desk ornament. And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try, I'll look it up. And turns out it's one of the best mics you can get. I didn't know that at the time. I was not familiar with Blue Yeti yet. So, yeah, that was absolutely a steal. Compared to anything else that my dad or his friends, I mean, my dad found a freaking DS in a car once. Like a fully working pink DS just sitting in a car. And, you know, used car that comes in the lot, it's free game. So, get out of here. Yeah, that is a nice find. He's found a couple of nice things, but this Blue Yeti is probably one of the best things they've found. No. Literally only like a few scratches on it. It was, as far as I'm aware, perfectly functional. Seizure on impound. More or less exactly. Yep, and that was a big, that was primarily because the place my dad works, they mostly ran through auction houses. They mostly sold cars that they got through auctions, so, you know, occasionally you find that, you know, the car that was, like, seized from a freaking crime scene or something like that, and immediately impounded, like, those types of cars. And I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. That's why I always learned, like, when I would help my dad when I was younger, like, he was more overly cautious than anything about cleaning the inside of a car. In fact, more often than not, he just wouldn't let me do it. He would, like, inspect the car first, make sure there was nothing, like, suspicious under seats or anything like that, and then he'd be like, go ahead, clean it. And of course, younger, I never understood why. Like, I understood why, but like, it can't be that big of a deal, but, like, no. In his business, it's absolutely that big of a deal. You never stick your hand blindly underneath a car, underneath a used car. Because you never know, you might find a DS, and then your life is over. And your life is never the same again. But it won't fit in my wallet. Finally at capacity. I hear a pole. Where am I going? Okay, there you are. Get over here, ghosty boy. Whoa. What? What? Oh, I was targeting the P-hat. Like, that confused the hell out of me. That was a trip. Yeah, too bad the actual DSs don't physically hold up. That said, I still have my 3DS. And it's, you know, compared to any DS I've had, it's survived quite the wear and tear. Oh, this isn't moving. Yeah, they did. Whoa! Oh my god, that was lucky. But absolutely, and that's something I was actually talking about with my coworker, who's also my roommate, who also like helps me with my ideas. Occasionally helps me with my writing ideas. Talking about it, like that's something I kind of want to write about. Is just completely for fun, because it's not as serious a subject anymore. Is the state of the console wars. I wanna write something that kind of frames like what are the console wars nowadays, because that is an interesting, like, at least the way I view it, I find it very interesting, and that has a lot to do with it, how like how handheld games played into that. Like, it's almost like if the console wars were just between the big three, which it's not anymore, but if it were just between the three, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, like, you got Sony pushing PlayStation, trying to push for graphics and fidelity and trying to make it the best console ever. You got Xbox trying to push its streaming services, its online services, any of its online image, it's really trying to push for. And then Nintendo, where they're also pushing for hardware, but in a different sense, and they're more than anything capitalizing on the handheld market because that's their niche. And yes, there is no real... That's also something I want to tap into that a lot of people have talked about, like, the competition... Whoops, didn't mean to let go. The competition in the video game space is no longer between them three. Is, like, there is still... There's mild competition. You can say there's still rivalry between the big three companies, but the actual competition is between Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and Amazon, Google, Apple, who those guys are not on the same team. What did I say? Amazon, Google, did I say that right? Amazon, Google, and Apple, and a couple other companies, like other companies that are not only throwing their hat in the ring, but have a lot of money to throw stuff at the wall, fail multiple times, and keep going. You know, they're trying to introduce whole different, like, mediums of playing video games in the first place. I mean, there are other videos that elaborate this point, and I want to elaborate on that point a bit more, but it's something that I've seen brought up that I found interesting, that the console wars, or I guess they're not even console wars, the video game wars has kind of evolved from those three to now the three of gaming, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, or I should say specifically Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, because Sony and Microsoft aren't just competing in that space. They have their hands in a lot of other businesses, so in a way, that's what's made Nintendo stay alive. That's what's kept them surviving, is the fact that they've stayed so single-minded. But at the same time, that's exactly what's held them back. And Sony and Microsoft are both kind of the weird guys in the middle, where they're, like, even Xbox has reached the point of classic. Like, the Xbox name is classic in video games nowadays, so we look at Xbox, we look at PlayStation, like, how are they going to adapt to what's going on? Sony is also in a weird position, like, the weirdest position they've ever been in, I think, in terms of having a maybe compared to the PS3, but like PS5 is a completely different issue, right? The PS3 failed because it was weird, because it just didn't work out the gate. No matter how good it was, it just didn't work right away. The PS5 has a completely different issue that, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know enough about, I don't claim to know enough about, like, Sony's sales figures or Sony's trends to make a definitive, any sort of definitive statements on that, but, you know, people like Spawnwave, he's also talked about it recently, where, like, the state of video games, this generation of video games is hard to even, it's hard to even pinpoint, because we have people arguing that like, one of the biggest cruxes of the conversation is, where does the Switch belong? If we're going to, like, I don't really care much for, you okay, dude? I don't really care too much for labeling things by generation, like which generation is, like, the PS1 versus the PS2. They exist. Some are more definitive than others, but I don't feel the need to definitively state we are now entering the 5th generation, 6th, 7th, 8th generation of gaming. But if we're gonna look at it, the Switch belongs in the dock. No, Limit Break, it also belongs in your hands because it's a hybrid system. You're able to take it on the go and play it at home. No, but I've seen people talk about, like, is the Switch just like the Wii U 2? Does it still belong in the Wii U generation? In which case, it's still behind with the PS4 and the Xbox One. Is it a part of that generation, or was it the start of this generation where the PS5 and the new Xbox exists? Was it the start of that generation and Nintendo was just early? Like, we're at a point in gaming where that's starting to lose its meaning. Or is at least starting to become more and more confusing. And again, granted, it's not like that's the actual first time this has happened. Like, I guess console generations are never gonna be definitive in their time. That pocket's not deep enough. For what, to bring it on the go? See, I'm one of them freaking tech-savvy nerds. That's what I'm going with. For a while, I was okay, not walking around. I wasn't just walking around everywhere with it, but when I was, like, at work, or if I was out somewhere in public, I would have the Switch with the Joy-Cons out, Switch console in my back pocket, and the Joy-Cons in my jacket pockets. So anywhere I go, I could just put the Switch somewhere and put my hands in my pockets. That's how I went about with the Switch for a while. And really, I remember seeing a picture of some kid doing that at school, and I'm like, motherfucker, if only the Switch existed while I was at school, I'd be doing that every goddamn day. What am I doing? I need to be a dog to get on that tightrope. But yeah, I absolutely would have been doing that every day. Freaking Switch in my back pocket and controllers in my pockets. Upping the prices for Canada only. Yeah, that is rough, but it's like, yeah, when you see a decision like that, you can only base it on market. You can only assume it's a market decision. You know, because as malicious as companies are, as bad as companies can be, I like to think that for the most part, they don't immediately want to say, screw these people in particular, we're taking more money from them. Like, sometimes it really feels that way, and I look at the PS3, and it kind of felt like that. Not that, screw these particular people, it's like, I somewhat agree that it was the PlayStation fever getting to Sony's head, where they, like, they let their own hype what am I trying to say? They let their own grandeur get to their heads. They thought they could charge that much, or they thought they could, that by including that much would make them more prestigious. It's a whole different conversation, but point being, like, I try not to believe that companies are literally just making spiteful decisions. So it always sucks to hear, but yeah, in saying that, it sucks that those decisions happen at all. It sucks that things like that have to happen at all, because I do also believe that people absolutely would have waited for the PS5, like 100%. I firmly believe that. If the PS5 was, I don't know, maybe they could have teased it, but I feel like that would have been a little damaging. But like, I don't know, if the PS5 just didn't exist yet until maybe like this year or the year before, I don't think there would have been a problem. In fact, I think there would have been significantly less problems. Yeah, go over there. Works for me. Yeah, and again, at the same time, I'm not going to claim to know anything. Like, I'm not a market researcher of any type, so could very well be just mindless money-making decisions for all I know. Wow. Again, like, I do absolutely see the frustration. Like, I was turned off by the PS5 the second I heard about the shortage. The second I heard that freaking bots are running rampant on sites, buying thousands of them within a fraction of a second, I'm like, I don't care. I don't even care a little. But yeah, I mean, says it right there. Upwards of freaking $2,000. $2,000 for another Sony box. Why did I drop down? Oops. For another freaking Sony box that, as far as I'm aware, still hasn't even met on most of the things it's promised. Like the backwards compatibility on everything. I don't know. This is an outsider's opinion. Don't take anything I say as, like, hard, subjective opinion, because I can't make one on something like Sony, but that's because I've been avoiding it. The PS5 is not attractive. I'll say that as an outsider, as someone who doesn't typically, like, I've had every Sony console up to the PS4. I'll say that. I have owned every PlayStation up to the PS4. And that includes a PSP and no, I didn't have a Vita. I borrowed my buddies for a bit to play, the hell I don't even remember anyway. Like, just take that as, like, as an outsider, as someone who wants a PS5. I do want a PS5. I just really don't want to, I just really don't want one based off of, like, what it takes to get one. It just doesn't feel worth it. Doesn't feel even a little worth it. Doesn't feel like I'm gonna get my time back. Like, spending that much money, putting that much of a, like, going through that much of a headache to get it. Like, just glad my job doesn't depend on it, quite honestly. One small reason I'm glad I'm still a small streamer is I don't have to fucking don't have to chase after PS5s. Yeah, my collection is Nintendo. Now, Nintendo may have shitty consumer practices, but I don't know, no but. I don't know what else to say to that. They really just do have shitty consumer. I mean, I'm not gonna act like any sort of white knight for Nintendo. I really am not. I'm not the type that will defend, like, they're just a corporate making corporate decisions, but that is kind of what it comes down to. Like, they just have a completely different business model. And I was thinking of it the other day. It hit me like what's the frickin' the quote from Rick and Morty? Some families have to wonder if they belong together or if they were together by chance. Well, we have the pleasure of knowing that we are not. Or something like that, I'm paraphrasing. But I think that right there absolutely applies to Nintendo. Some fans out there, some of you fans of your favorite companies, you have to wonder. You have to sit there and screaming at your television, curious if your favorite game developing company is actually listening to you. Nintendo fans, we have the pleasure of knowing they are not listening to us. So at least there's that. Ah shit, there's the other one. Forgot there's two of them. That was not what I meant to do. Trying to read chat and fight at the same time, but can't do that. I just need to get down here. Let's go. Let's go. What are you doing? Die. Okay. If I go up here. Okay. I have heard story that games from Nintendo I don't know if you worded that right, but I think I get what you're saying. If you're saying the concern with streaming Nintendo games is that Nintendo always copyrights them. I don't know exactly where that situation is right now, but that is an older issue that has kind of gone down in recent years. I don't think I worded it correctly. I don't think so, but I got the gist of what you were talking about. And yeah, if that's what you're referring to, yeah, they're absolutely. Nintendo was the one freaking notorious for the dumb. What did they call it? Creators program, where you would pay Nintendo to not have them sue you to death. Like you would pay Nintendo for the rights to stream their games, and then you would be labeled as like a Nintendo streamer or something like that. Like they had that, and it just ended because literally nobody did it. That was an example of people sticking it to Nintendo where it would actually work. Like that was a case I fully support. Like no, don't support this bullshit because they're literally just pulling out of the game for the sake of staying out of the game. That was a case of like just stop. That's the same sentiment I have towards like banning Smash Brothers tournaments. It's literally for no reason than to just not be a part of the game, not be a part of the popular image. Like, stop. Those decisions I really don't understand. Yeah, and the issue was mostly YouTube, exactly. It was mostly for YouTube reviewers. Like, I think people like Peanut Butter Gamer got hit pretty hard with Nintendo stuff. Like, the Normal Boots crew in particular, they got hit hard because, like, all of them, half their freaking content is Nintendo. Did I not get... Oh, okay, I did get the key. I was gonna say, I don't remember getting it. I remember getting it. I remember now. and it's you know, it just bears repeating. Companies, gaming, all of gaming is in a very weird spot, and all three, between the big three, are like treating it very, very differently. Nintendo is in this weird place of like kinda bending their rules, but not really. And sometimes bending their rules not for the best, like with mobile games. Still don't know how I feel about Nintendo mobile games. And that's not a vendetta against mobile games. That's Nintendo's philosophy in making games that conflicts with mobile games. Anyway, best fight in the game. Right here. Best fight in all of fucking Zelda right here. I love this fight. Remember playing this on the Wii? I was standing. I was hype for this fight. Yeah, see, there you have the option. That is a big reason I stick to Nintendo, honestly. Like, if there were a tangible reason, that's one of them that attracts me to it. One of it is, like, I mean, I say stable pricing. Stable as in you can expect them to be no more than 60. Like a AAA Nintendo, first-party Nintendo game, $60 flat. As much as that is a weird reason, that is kind of a security blanket as opposed to, you know, the risk of there being a $70 game or a freaking $60 game that's garbage. But that's a smaller issue. The bigger reason is that right there. Like, Nintendo really doesn't release games until they're finished. Like, they have not released a game that needs a major patch, and if they do, it's an actual, like, I can't think of any examples where Nintendo released a game, like, as bad as something as Call of Duty, right? Where they literally released a fraction of the game and just updated over time. Like, they just don't do that, so it's one thing I've always appreciated about them as a company. Or one of the reasons I'm more fond of their games. Okay, guess we're keeping the boots on. Okay. I'll take that. Good strike. You got me there. Come on. Do I actually have to go up? Thought I was making a mistake going up here. Can I just... I don't remember exactly. I literally just went up here by instinct, and I guess I was making the right choice. Get down! Slam. Who took the time to armor him up. And I forget the story behind this thing. I believe it's like supposed to be a guardian, like usually the case in Zelda dungeons. Like this thing is the guardian of the Sky Temple, but it was corrupted. I think that's the case. Finally back. Call was an hour chatting with my mate. Ah, cool, okay. Hope he has a good time in Italy. And glad to hear you back. Go, go, go. Keep going, keep going. Spiderling, spiderling. Gonna stab a dragon in the ding. Down. Oh, I love that. Go. Oh, do I need to do it? Round and round. Love this freaking fight, dude. Get up here. Come on. Come on, you got this. No, damn it. Messed up. Ah, I really messed up. Caught up to me. I know, I'm still begging for... Oh man, I would say I want one or the other, but really, there's no reason. Like, with the Wii U and 3DS eShops closing soon, like, if they don't re-release Wind Waker and frickin' Twilight Princess HD, they're just gonna be gone. They're just gonna disappear. That's what I mean, yeah. I would love to say I would take one or the other, but honestly, there's no reason why they both shouldn't come to the Switch at this point. Like, they don't even have to be a 2-pack. Release them both for $60. That's fine. Just make them exist. Like, anything is better than them dying with the Wii U. The Wii U died before it died. Like, there's a good majority of the world that will never experience Twilight Princess, or the more important one, I'll admit, is Wind Waker HD. Wind Waker HD looks fucking phenomenal. They fixed so much in the game, and it's partially responsible for the art style in Breath of the Wild. So, like, there's just so many people who will never experience Wind Waker HD, and it is, in my opinion, the superior fucking version. So if Nintendo doesn't bring over Twilight Princess and Wind Waker to the Switch, it is just a crying shame. It is an absolute shame. Triforce fishing. And see, that's what I'm talking about. They fixed that in Wind Waker HD. Like, they fixed that, from what I'm told. I haven't played it. I have not played Wind Waker HD. I'll say that outright. But I've seen the improvements. I've seen what they've done, and it's one of those I can't really say regret. I didn't have, when it came out, I didn't have a job. It was just one of those I had to skip out on, and I do regret, in a way, skipping out on Wind Waker HD, because I've seen people say that it's like the superior version. It massively improved Wind Waker. So, like, it is just a damn shame if Nintendo lets those two games die. If they let them die with the Wii U. I mean, it's just money. They could re-release the freaking Wolf amiibo. Like, I'm speaking from the sense where money isn't even an object. Like, I'm not talking about them overcharging or anything like that. I just want them to exist. Don't care how much they charge for it. Just make them exist, because that's a bigger shame than overcharging, in my opinion. I'll say that. Unless they release them for a freaking, like, something stupid. Like, again, which they won't do. Which I have faith Nintendo would never do that. They would never charge, like, $80 for a single re-release of a game. And if they have in the past, I'm sure they were shunned for it. I really can't recall a time that they've ever done something that egregious. Yeah, right, they stopped the use of internet on the Wii to force people to buy a Wii U, and nobody did. Like, barely anyone did. When they did, it was later, because the games got better. Really, the only reason anyone did was because of Smash and Mario Maker. Like, it's the only reason anybody owns a Wii U is because of Smash Brothers and Mario Maker. The Twilight Princess HD, from what I've seen, is a little less different. They made some quality of life improvements, but Twilight Princess moving up to HD, from what I've heard and from what I've actually seen, it did suffer a little bit from the remake process. Like, the blurriness of the GameCube is in favor of this, and even to some extent the Wii, the original Wii, the blurriness, the graphics, kinda is in this game's favor when it comes to the realistic stuff. When you bring that into super crisp HD, it starts to stand out. Like, jagged edges stand out, incomplete textures stand out, stuff like that. So, Twilight Princess, I'll admit, did not translate as well to an HD engine, as well as Wind Waker did. Alright. RJP, you did it! It's the 4th shard. Now we have them all. Hey, RJP. The words of the sages. You remember them? Only the true ruler of the Twilight can destroy the Mirror of Twilight. Zant could only break the Mirror of Twilight into shards. He couldn't utterly shatter it. That's proof of his false kingship. RJP, we have to hurry. To the mirror chamber. After all, a fake is a fake. And no matter how much you dress it up, the real thing always wins. Sweet. Nothing else I need to do. Sweet, and there is the Sky Temple, Sky Dungeon, Temple in the Sky, whatever you may call it. Finally frickin' got around to it. My favorite dungeon in the game. Sweet. Alright, and with that, that's gonna do it for this episode of Twilight Princess. Waiting for Uku to come back. Nope, not yet. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.